What is the wisdom of Buddhism that everyone praises? Welcome back, everyone, to my podcast. Why does everyone praise the wisdom of Buddhism? Dear friends, anyone can possess the wisdom of Buddhism, but due to ignorance, we do not utilize our innate wisdom. As a result, we continue to walk in delusion and suffer endlessly. In Buddhism, two elements are always emphasized: compassion and wisdom. Compassion involves having a loving heart and doing beneficial deeds to help all beings, while wisdom refers to eliminating the afflictions within ourselves, freeing us from delusion. Increasing wisdom means cultivating insight, and increasing compassion means cultivating merit. Developing both simultaneously is known as cultivating merit and wisdom. The wisdom of Buddhism is frequently reminded and emphasized by the Buddha in every aspect of life. Education is a core value of Buddhism because it is a way to elevate the wisdom of all beings. No one can deny the role of wisdom, as it is what makes humans superior to other creatures, and it is through wisdom that we have become masters of all species. Progress of human civilization and material advancements are also thanks to wisdom. In Sanskrit, wisdom is called prana, and is transliterated into Chinese as prajna, or great wisdom, which highlights its vastness, miraculous nature, and effectiveness. Sometimes in the scriptures, it is referred to as prajnaparamita, meaning the ultimate and perfectly clear wisdom that leads practitioners to attain Buddhahood. In the Dharmapada Sutra, the Buddha teaches that those with wisdom are not attached to worldly things. They are free, clear-sighted, and avoid falling into sinful traps. True wisdom is like a solid boat that ferries beings across the sea of suffering and delusion, like a bright lamp illuminating the darkness, like a medicine that cures countless illnesses, like an iron hammer that shatters the forest of afflictions, and like a sharp blade that cuts through the net of ignorance. Living in this Saha world, we often feel endless suffering due to our ignorance. Sometimes we are distressed by illnesses, and at other times we are tormented by one affliction after another, leaving us at a loss about how to deal with them. However, according to Buddhism, once we have wisdom, we will have the light to escape these afflictions. Only wisdom provides us with the strength to shatter the veil of ignorance, giving us the opportunity to broaden our vision, see the truth of the universe, and merge with it to live a peaceful, beautiful life without clinging anymore. This means that we do not resist or run away from our pain and suffering, but we understand and learn to coexist with them. As a result, although the pain remains, we understand it and are no longer entangled by it. Nevertheless, many people still misunderstand Buddhism, deifying it. But in reality, the Buddha only helps us to awaken our wisdom and provides us with guidance for self-study. He never magically relieves anyone of their suffering. According to the spirit of Buddhism, reciting and studying the scriptures is considered a way to explore theoretical knowledge, to expand one's understanding and wisdom as vast as the ocean. Therefore, when reciting the sutras, it is essential to understand their meaning. Buddhist scriptures are not some kind of magical spell that opens up wisdom and causes people to fall into superstition, thinking that they are a miracle in life. The Buddha never claimed that his was the only path for everyone to follow, but he did hope that we avoid wrong views. To distinguish between right and wrong views, one can examine the wisdom they impart. For example, Buddhism aims to open up people's wisdom, so it does not take advantage of people's weaknesses, nor does it exploit difficult circumstances or use immediate material benefits to convert people. The difference between worldly intelligence and the wisdom of Buddhism is highlighted in the Buddha's teachings on the wise and the foolish. The Buddha once taught his disciples, "Whenever fear arises, O monks, all that fear arises from the foolish, not from the wise. Whenever dangers arise, all those dangers arise from the foolish, not from the wise. Whenever disasters arise, all those disasters arise from the foolish, not from the wise. Thus, the foolish experience fear, while the wise do not. Foolish face dangers, while the wise do not. The foolish encounter disasters, while the wise do not." Fear, danger, and disaster do not come to the wise because they have the ability to handle everything with calm and composure. Many people think that being praised as intelligent or knowledgeable about the theories of Buddhism means they possess Buddhist wisdom. Is this view correct? In reality, it is not so simple. person considered intelligent or worldly wise might indeed be knowledgeable, there are two possible outcomes. One type of person uses cunning to amass wealth and personal gain, harming others in the process. Though they are intelligent, they are dangerous, even more so than someone foolish. Using knowledge to harm others is worse than being a beast. The Buddha considered such intelligence a great disaster. Another type of intelligent person lives virtuously, knowing what should and shouldn't be done, and works for the benefit of others and society. However, even this knowledge is limited. Such intelligence might help them earn money and lead a comfortable life, but it doesn't free them from suffering and the cycle of rebirth. This is why it is called worldly intelligence. In Buddhism, there are two types of wisdom. First is defiled wisdom, where one knows, sees, and understands, still clings to worldly matters. Their mind is still attached to desires and positions within the three realms, and their wisdom has not yet been liberated from the defilements. The second is undefiled wisdom, where not only does one know, see, and understand, but through practice and training, their mind has severed all defilements. This wisdom no longer entangles them in the cycle of birth and death within the six realms. This wisdom is possessed by those who have attained enlightenment, such as arhats, pratyeka Buddhas, bodhisattvas, and Buddhas. It is only upon reaching the fruit of enlightenment that this pure and ultimate wisdom is realized. Therefore, it is evident that worldly wisdom can be acquired from knowledge, like a teacher or professor who uses the research of others to teach and expand knowledge. They are also considered wise in a worldly sense. However, the wisdom of Buddhism is not gained through the accumulation of knowledge or academic achievement. According to Buddhism, a person with wisdom has realized the truth of all phenomena by using knowledge and insight to transform their body and mind, thereby eliminating ignorance and afflictions, bringing peace and liberation in both the present and the future. In contrast, worldly knowledge is merely a tool. It is not enough just to learn. One must practice diligently until everything becomes natural, without any discomfort in both body and mind. The wisdom emphasized in Buddhism is self-reliant, not dependent on others. Buddhism is a path built on the foundation of wisdom, using enlightenment, understanding, and the power of reason to solve human spiritual problems and social issues, without relying on deities. Buddhism places humans at the center, using human strength and human wisdom to address human problems. Happiness is created by people, and suffering is caused by people to themselves and others. When wisdom is the foundation, everyone is equal, for all possess wisdom and Buddha nature. According to the teachings of the Buddha, wisdom is not necessarily linked to high levels of knowledge, as knowledge alone is insufficient to transform afflictions. A wise person in Buddhism always looks directly at the truth and accepts it, even if it is painful, while making efforts to transform and progress on the path of practice. In the worldly sense, wisdom is enhanced by collecting knowledge from others, making oneself more intelligent. However, in Buddhism, one must let go of the distractions and disturbances of the mind in order to achieve calm and stability. Once the mind is stable, true awareness fully manifests, and one attains undefiled wisdom. At that point, one is no longer caught in the cycle of birth and death. This is the ultimate goal of Buddhism, to help us transcend all forms of suffering and afflictions. What is paramita? Understanding the 6 paramitas correctly will help practitioners become more diligent, progress naturally, and avoid dogma when applying Buddhism to daily life. To fully grasp the meaning of paramita, we need to use Dharani, combination of Vietnamese and ancient texts to explain what paramita means. Paramita refers to something vast, expansive. Para means vast, while mita represents a hidden inner secret. Paramita signifies the vast internal struggle between instinct and reason within oneself. This internal conflict is likened to water and fire, fire representing willpower, and water symbolizing human instincts. Normally, fire is subdued by water, but when fire becomes stronger, it can overpower water and cause it to evaporate. This implies that for those who cultivate well, their reason will triumph over instinct. Thus, the 6 paramitas, or the 6 internal struggles, called the 6 perfection. The first of these is Dana Paramita, perfection of giving. Giving is the reciprocal exchange in life, and is the path to generating merit. For example, in the practice of the Bodhisattva path, we must practice giving with a heart that is vast and generous. When we give, we will attain the way. There are many ways to practice giving, but the most important thing is to give with a big heart, motivated by the desire to help others. One can give money, time, or effort, and this also includes making an offering, such as when we support monks in their practice. Through offerings, one is also practicing the paramita of generosity, dana paramita, and the paramita of moral discipline, shila paramita. Moral discipline means setting boundaries, which also implies adhering to precepts. Thus, keeping moral discipline involves maintaining one's own limits. Sometimes in life, we encounter situations that make us angry. In such moments, we must engage in inner struggles to suppress that anger, preventing it from manifesting outwardly or crossing our moral boundaries. In the language of Dharani, moral discipline can also mean a test from heaven. When one begins practicing and vows to uphold certain precepts, heaven may arrange tests to challenge whether that person can overcome temptations. This is known as a test from heaven. For example, when a lay Buddhist practitioner vows to uphold the precept against sexual misconduct, heaven may send demons to tempt him by having a beautiful woman approach and awaken his desires. If he struggles internally and reminds himself that he has a family and must maintain his boundaries with her, then he has successfully passed the test of moral discipline. This means that reason has triumphed over instinct, and this is considered successful practice of moral discipline. The third paramita is patience, shanti paramita. Patience means enduring hardships, knowing how to accept bitter and unfair situations, and being willing to take a step back to wait for the right time. Patience as a paramita means engaging in inner struggles, weighing the pros and cons to decide how to act reasonably. However, patience must have its limits. Small matters can be overlooked, but when things become too extreme, we must stand up for ourselves to prevent crossing boundaries. We should not hold the mindset that everything is preordained by heaven and thus passively accept it. For instance, when the enemy invades our country, if we are still weak, we may patiently endure while training soldiers and devising strategies. Patience as a paramita does not mean being weak and allowing others to invade our nation's borders. If we think that Buddhism promotes passivity and does not advocate for justice, we have misunderstood the Buddha's philosophy. Look at King Trunyen Tong as an exemplary figure. But on another level, patience does not mean harboring grudges while waiting for revenge. We must resolve the hatred in our hearts. Hatred can lead to acts of revenge, which entangle us in the creation of karma. Patience here also means persistence on the path of practice. We must know how to endure and overcome all obstacles, accumulate merit, and thereby awaken our wisdom. Only then can we develop true inner strength. Wishing for quick enlightenment through prayers, invocations, or mantras reflects haste and impatience. Remember, haste makes waste. The fourth paramita is diligent effort, virya paramita. Thanks to patience, we can achieve diligent effort. The fifth paramita is meditation, dhyana paramita, which means keeping the mind steady and unwavering. When we practice moral discipline and patience for a long time, we will attain inner concentration, also known as unshakable stillness. If meditation is practiced to regulate the body's energy and improve health, that is good. However, if meditation is practiced with the intent to advance quickly in spiritual cultivation or to meet divine beings, we will be tested by heaven. Meditation is about keeping the mind pure to be able to penetrate spiritual realms and reach celestial planes. However, before entering celestial realms, we always encounter demons. We need great wisdom and strength to discern whether we are dealing with demons or Buddhas. If our concentration power is weak, we are easily led astray by illusions, easily disturbed, like the night of Buddha's enlightenment when he was disturbed by demons. Without great concentration and rationality to overcome instinct, he could not have attained the 6 paramitas of wisdom. When the mind is concentrated, wisdom arises. Here, wisdom also means the secret within. Therefore, keep it hidden inside and do not boast about your wisdom. Dear friends, that is the meaning of the paramitas along with the 6 paramitas. Patience is an important virtue for practitioners. So which methods should we apply to cultivate patience? To help you understand patience deeply and know how to practice it, we will cite the teachings on born patience, Dharma patience, and unborn Dharma patience from the Buddha. Patience here should be understood simply as endurance and effort. To cultivate patience, sentient beings must understand the concepts of born patience, Dharma patience, and unborn Dharma patience. Born patience comes from born, which refers to sentient being. Thus, born patience means the patience between sentient beings. Born here refers to life and the relationships between sentient beings, including human-to-human and human-to-animal relationships. Therefore, born patience means humans must patiently endure and tolerate each other with wisdom, and conflict should only occur when absolutely necessary. In cases where conflict is essential, it is still considered born patience. Remember, the purpose of practice is to awaken wisdom. Practitioners need wisdom to recognize limits and should not be dogmatic, believing that practitioners must endure everything. One must be patient wisely. Born patience is part of the Dharma, but because it is special and important, it is separated. Dharma patience refers to all phenomena around us. Everything we see and know is called Dharma, including ourselves, others, and the animals around us. Dharma patience also refers to natural and social phenomena around us. Most of it is imposed upon us, and we must learn to accept it. For example, when facing natural phenomena like storms or heat, humans cannot control them. We can only accept, adapt, and harmonize with the environment. Imagine you are in a hot situation and suddenly lose power. Normally, the discomfort can cause tension and frustration. However, as practitioners, we should not show anger. We control our emotions and accept using a hand fan to adapt. Thinking of ways to control anger can also be considered Dharma patience. Unborn Dharma patience usually means that, in both born patience and Dharma patience, we often seek a reason to endure. The act of seeking a reason to endure is the process of the arising of Dharma. So, unborn Dharma patience means being able to endure without the mind needing to seek a reason. Unborn means no arising, i.e., no mental formation of Dharma. Dharma refers to events or phenomena, or more specifically, the reason for practicing patience. Only bodhisattvas can achieve unborn Dharma patience, because they have understood the profound origins of all phenomena and no longer seek reasons to endure. They know and accept that everything in this world is subject to conditions. The Buddha taught that all conditioned things are like dreams, illusions, bubbles, and shadows. Like dew, like lightning, thus should we perceive them. This means that in life, we must learn patience as a method of practice to create good karma, attain rebirth in the Pure Land, and avoid blaming the heavens. According to worldly thinking, patience or endurance often means tolerating hardships or injustice to maintain peace, or enduring suppression to achieve fame or status. In some cases, people are forced to endure due to overwhelming pressure. However, such endurance may bring temporary peace but leads to inner distress, resentment, and anger. The Buddha's teaching on patience is fundamentally different. According to Buddhism, patience is the ability to endure insults, slander, and harm with a calm and composed mind, free from anger. It is about refraining from pointless arguments, using mindfulness to overcome wrong thoughts, using compassion to transform anger, and using wisdom to maintain harmony. In Buddhist scriptures, there is a saying by Buddha Shakyamuni that can be considered the essence of non-contention. Patience is the highest practice. The scriptures also note that, in the past, someone praised the Buddha for having great blessings and virtues. Another person, upon hearing this, angrily questioned how someone born without a mother could be considered blessed and virtuous. The person praising the Buddha explained that despite reaching the pinnacle of wisdom, he remained unaffected by insults, anger, or death, and thus was indeed greatly blessed and virtuous. The angry person, upon hearing this, was eventually moved and convinced. The Buddha's teaching on patience can be summarized as follows. Endure anger for a moment and avoid 100 days of worry. To maintain harmony, patience is paramount. Among all virtues, patience is the highest. A father and son who practice patience will preserve their relationship. A husband and wife who are patient will keep their family united. Siblings who are patient will maintain family peace. Friends who are patient will never lose their bond. Those who can practice patience will be loved by all. A person who has not yet mastered patience is not truly accomplished. In life, gaining and losing, winning and losing are inevitable. Everyone's life has its ups and downs, both bitter and sweet, and these are all equally valuable experiences. Experiencing all the joys, sorrows, loves, and hatreds of life is what gives life meaning. If life is too peaceful, it naturally leads to distress. However, when faced with adversity, if we do not know how to practice patience, our mindset will be like a fire ready to ignite, causing unforeseeable harm. Many married couples argue because they cannot control their anger, leading to hurtful words or even physical harm. Over time, these words damage the marital bond, eventually leading to separation, with the children being the ones who suffer the most. Friends, when unable to control their anger, may harm each other. And once they face imprisonment, they regret the moment they lost their calm. In less severe cases, anger may lead to discord, damaging long-standing friendships. When one finally awakens, they realize the years of bitterness have caused irreparable damage, leading to irrational actions that harm both themselves and others, creating cycles of resentment that carry over into future lives, endlessly perpetuating karma and samsara. When we practice patience, we can endure adversity without feeling overwhelmed or blaming ourselves or others. Wisdom will shine through, helping us find a way to save our lives. Without patience, we often bring trouble upon ourselves. To understand and forgive others' mistakes is to reach a state of spiritual achievement, as taught by the Buddha. Learning to be patient is not about lowering oneself, but about elevating oneself, using one's own mindfulness to awaken others. We exist in this life because of the positive or negative karma created in previous lives. In this life, we use our body and mind to cultivate and create good karma for the future, simultaneously paying off and cleansing our past karma. This is the only way to live a joyful and peaceful life. As Buddhists, once we realize this, we should develop faith and follow the Buddha's teachings, observe the world, and cultivate both body and mind. This is how we can live a life of peace and freedom, with hope that we will be reborn in a better realm, or live a life with more favorable conditions. Once we recognize this world and ourselves, we will no longer blame the heavens or the earth. When we become aware of our body and mind, we will no longer create negative karma. At that point, we and all sentient beings will live in peace, creating a pure land here in the human realm. Therefore, right now, in this present life, let us begin to cultivate with one of the most powerful methods that the Buddha taught, which is the practice of patience. Dear friends, today's video comes to an end here. I wish you and your family peace and happiness. For 25 centuries, Buddhism has always emphasized education as its core value. Education is the foundation of Buddhism, not meditation or offerings, which are only outward manifestations. More than 25 centuries ago, after attaining enlightenment, the Buddha quietly shared his knowledge with his disciples every day until he entered nirvana. From its inception to this day, Buddhism has always placed great emphasis on human education, and this continues to have a positive effect. Why did the Buddha place such importance on education? The role of education is crucial, which is why it is said that whoever controls education can change the world. Education is a guiding activity, and if misdirected, it can destroy an entire generation with disastrous consequences. Buddhist education is no exception to this rule, and thus no one should take it lightly. The Buddhist teachings form a system of humanistic and wise education that provides practical benefits for people and guides them toward the truth that the Buddha himself realized. Buddhist education contributes greatly to shaping individuals and society. Its primary focus is to help individuals break free from the shackles of body and mind through their own self-cultivation, rather than relying on anyone else or any divine being. Even the Buddha is merely a guide and cannot help anyone through some miraculous power. In Buddhism, education is always valued because the Buddha believed that education is the true miracle, the most wondrous form of spiritual transformation that can improve people. Education contributes significantly to the development of moral character in each individual. Through education, people can gain understanding and wisdom. With proper awareness, people can build a path of cultivation for themselves, progressively perfecting themselves, and no longer being led astray by anger, greed, or desires. Understanding is the essential condition that education can provide, allowing individuals to attain the most extraordinary values. Buddhist education builds individuals as the core units of small communities, which in turn affects the transformation of society's nature. Thus, by cultivating complete human values, we can build a community of well-educated individuals, which will eventually lead to the construction of an ideal society. Achieving this requires a long process of tireless effort, and the Buddha laid the first stones for this foundation. Buddhist education endures through time, remaining relevant, practical, and closely connected to social life. It helps individuals perfect their character, full values of wisdom and morality. Buddhist education teaches individuals to improve their environment by nurturing compassion and deeply understanding human nature. It aims to resolve humanity's collective karma, guiding us toward the creation of a peaceful and harmonious world. Over 25 centuries have passed, and while time has eroded some of its teachings, the Buddha's wisdom and the core principles of his doctrine remain invaluable. Many people from various professions, including technicians, artists, and entrepreneurs, have applied the Buddha's teachings in their lives to achieve success. This affirms that the teachings of the Buddha continue to stand the test of time. The foundation of education in the Buddhist teachings aligns with the core of human culture, no matter where one is or under what circumstance. Therefore, individuals can rely on the truth of Buddhism to apply it in their lives, changing themselves and transforming society. Buddhist teachings are vast and boundless, but depending on circumstances and individual karma, Buddha's teachings become practical lessons for each person. Each individual's achievements vary according to their practice and capacity. As a multi-dimensional and multi-field education system, Buddhist education has provided humanity with many practical values, fully and comprehensively applicable to life, helping to solve social issues.